Alright, so I think I have a basic idea of how I want this to be set up in here. I'm going to have 2 cages here, and I'm going to have a walkway here, a walkway here, and then I'm going to put 2 cages back to back here, 2 sets of cages back to back here, have another walkway, and I can probably have another one there. What I'll probably do is get another tiny shelter, probably kind of like the greenhouse that I have my butcher prep area in, and I'll probably put it right out here, and that's where I'm going to put all my food stuff for both my rabbits and my chickens and whatever other animals I get, probably. So right now I'm going to start taking the bottom off this cage. I had to run into town to go get the right size because I bought some of these, but they weren't wide enough to fit through here, but this one is. So now what I need to do is take the bottom off here. I need to undo all of those, undo these, then set it up and start working on this part. Now I'm going to have to run back into town to go get some more of these. That's okay. I took all these things off, and then I had to go cut all the remaining hooks off because they wouldn't let it sit flat. So that was fun. Alright, so it was a lot of back and forth, and for some reason I just couldn't find one of these that fit, but I finally found one, and I'm starting to screw the cage in. The only thing I'm worried about is this, the middle section. So what I'm thinking is I'll be taking a washer, a large washer, and a bolt like this, probably sticking it in something like this to secure it down here somewhere in the middle. And I think that should work. If I cinch it down tight enough, that should work. Of course, I don't have a blueprint for any of this. I just, honestly, I don't know. Maybe somebody has, but I don't know if anyone's even done anything like this before. So I don't really have a blueprint that I can just go off of. So I'm kind of just testing the waters. I've been thinking about this cage idea for some time now, and I'm really excited about actually getting it underway and actually trying it out for once instead of just theorizing about it in my head. That being said, I haven't personally seen anything similar to this, really. The closest thing was a post on Craigslist for a rabbit hutch, similar in build to the one I have the chickens in right now, but they had nursery panels. Now, this was before, this was a while ago, so there's some things I didn't know. So when they said nursery panels, I was thinking that it was from like a plant nursery, and they use that for the shelving for the plants. So that's what I was looking for, and for the life of me, I couldn't find anything like that. Especially not anything like that that I thought would work for rabbits, because, you know, nursery panels, you know, the shelvings that they use at nurseries are generally plastic. Rabbits have a tendency to chew on plastic, so I didn't really like that. But it was sometime later, and I think it was when I started working at the pig farm, that I realized it wasn't nursery panels for a plant nursery, it was nursery panels for a pig farm. Those panels are plastic as well. They're a heavy-duty plastic, and they would probably work. But again, plastic rabbits tend to chew on things. So, at the end of the day, I don't think they would last very long. However, these cast iron hog slats that they use for the farrowing sows, on the other hand, they're heavy-duty. They're also quite large. And that's when I started actually looking, I think, at the hog slats and what it would cost to get some and where I could get some, and theorizing about how I would use them for flooring and how I would do all that stuff. So yeah. So for sows, they expect these cast iron slats to last for about 20 years, is what my manager said. Less if the cast iron has a flaw, a casting flaw in it. But see, casting flaws shouldn't matter for rabbits. So even if it has a casting flaw, it should be fine for me. So I'm looking at these things lasting about 20 plus years for me, casting flaw or no casting flaw. And that's why I want to go with these. Now, I think part of the reason that people, you know, haven't really worked with something like this is because they're not cheap. Cast iron slats are not cheap. These were, I think, I don't know, $89 each. And because they're so heavy, they have to be shipped on a pallet, which means they have to be shipped freight. So all in all, it ended up being about like $450 just for 2 of them. And those were the cheapest ones that I could find. Anyway, yeah, I think these things will work perfectly fine. I'm happy with them. But I think part of the reason that people don't look into stuff like this is because it's not cheap. They're not cheap to get. But my whole thing is I want to improve my setup to the point where it's not just something that I can afford, but it's something that I can afford to spend a little bit extra on if it functions better and if it lasts longer. The cages I have been using have worked perfectly fine for me, but they were never my settling point. I didn't like them enough to want to keep them around forever, I guess. They were just while I was still learning. But this is the newest cage setup idea that I've had, I think, in a while. And it hasn't changed much since it was conceived in my head. So, I don't know. Of course, this is only a prototype, so eventually some things might change, like how I attach it all together, or various things, I don't know. Of course, once I get it all put together and show you guys, if you guys have suggestions on how to maybe improve it, make it stronger, or I don't know, things like that, that's fine too. I would love to hear your thoughts. Oh my gosh, this is in a tight little space here, so it's hard for me to maneuver because of this lip here and how close it is to the ground, and I have to twist it this way, so I'm having some difficulty gripping it and stuff. Anyways, so yeah, this is the prototype cage, the first one. I've really got high hopes for it. I'm really excited to finally be putting it together. The basics of it. There'll be improvements along the way, of course, when I can, as I test it out and figure out what else it needs. So yeah, I really can't wait to get this going. And I figured out exactly how many cages I need for the rabbit population I want. And so it's just a matter of saving up the money. I either can get all of these all at once, or I can get like maybe 2 at a time, and slowly build up my rabbitry from there. I mean, either way, it's going to take a little bit of time before I get everything in order, but this is a start. If I can at least get the cages set up the way I want them, so that they're nice, they function, and they keep my rabbits happy and healthy as well, then we'll be all set. And then I can start worrying about like a permanent shelter kind of thing for my animals and stuff. This one's going deep. further. It doesn't have to be so tight, but it should be fine now. Because I didn't get any, like, and maybe I should have gotten some things, but it's fine. So now I need to put on the bolts. I think there'll be enough tension if I go ahead and put one here, probably, that they won't be able to, like, pull it out and unhook it. That's one of the reasons why I got a larger washer for it. So I'm gonna work on putting that on right now. Alright, here's the finished prototype. So, alright. So I have one of these in each corner, and I've got 2 bolts in the front, 2 bolts in the back. Now, the 2 bolts in the back don't look too bad, but this one is way more pronounced in the curve. I have one in front and one behind to keep it from being wiggled out of place. But I think the reason that it's so pronounced in the front is because, well, this is closer here than it is back there. So, that might be something that I have to figure out in the future how to change, because I mean, it doesn't really look nice. But it should function, and that's what I'm looking at right now. Door. This cage is quite a bit bigger than my other ones, I think. There are a couple of things that I would like to be able to do in the future with this kind of cage, but there's some other things that I have to look into first. So for right now, here's the finished prototype. That thing's heavy to move. I need to get some more cinder blocks to stack up to about here maybe, to raise the cage up to my desired height. But I'm kind of wiped out today from all the stuff I've been doing, so I'm going to leave that for now. I'll come back probably, I work the next 2 days. Maybe Thursday afternoon, and come stack up some stuff and get it up to the height that I want. That's gonna bug me. This is really gonna bug me. I'm not sure. I don't have a better way to do it right now. Look what I found. I think this is exactly what I need. So I've taken off the other bolts. They're no longer on there anymore, and I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. Okay, I've put them on. Not quite like I was imagining, but I guess there's some things. Thank you. Some things that I wasn't anticipating. Like they're not gonna sit quite like this, and because of where they are, I can't really put washers there to try and stabilize them. And I mean, they'll still work. They won't wiggle out because of the angle and stuff that they're at. But yeah, and even if they were sitting like this, I mean, there's quite a bit of space there, but it's okay. It should work. So now I just need to get some more cinder blocks and stuff over here. Alright, here's what I got so far. This is a pretty good height, but I wouldn't mind it being a little higher. Probably like another cinder block higher, but the problem is these cinder blocks aren't very sturdy, and this ground isn't very even. So it's already been a hassle just trying to get it up 4 blocks, and I don't know that I really like it. It's not as sturdy as I'd like it to be. Shoo, I really need to find a different way to rise it up in the air. My normal method isn't going to work because this is just too heavy for that. The shelves would work, it's just not sitting on the lip here, and it's a little too wide. Plus it's too tall, it wouldn't fit under this carport. So if I could get like another version of that that was just a little bit wider, and shorter, much shorter, then we'd probably be okay. But unfortunately, can't really find that right now, so I'll have to think of something else. But here it is, finished product for now. Yeah, I like this. This looks nice. This floor will be nice, so I could probably go ahead and use this for it's probably sturdy enough that I could go ahead and like use it for testing out. I put one of my doughs in here, test it out. What I could do is I could use this carport as a kind of staging area, bring all my rabbits in here, set up their cages in here, and then I'll get a second carport to put over here. And when I figure out what is better to mount the cages on, I can slowly start putting that together underneath the second carport. So, and once I get all the rabbits moved over here, we can start using it. We can start adapting that loafing shed to being specifically for a coop. We can just start turning it into a coop. Like one side will probably be where the food and nesting boxes are, and the other side will probably be where all the roosts are for the chickens. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Anyways, so yeah, there's that. This is essentially the manifestation of the idea I've been having for a while, and I like it. Now I just need to find a better mounting solution for it and give it a test.